Yay! I bet you guys have been waiting for this since I teased that I'm gonna go full Kevlar. Few people ask me like, how are you gonna do the rear? What's gonna happen with the rear? Are you removing all the metal? Yes, all of this metal is gonna have to go. So let me just run you through this. My ideas, thoughts, and maybe you can write down in comments if they're right or not. As always, chances are if you're seeing this video, it's probably already done and I made up my mind. But you know, this interaction is good. I really value your inputs, guys. Anyways, this is my width of the rear truck. It's, can't remember what it is. It's about 55 or 60 mil over the standard one. So we need to cover this, obviously. All this needs to go. There's a few complications. Obviously, we want to remove this metal. So the complete new panel has to go over the whole thing. I reckon I can actually remove bits of it because it's spot welded here at the top. So that should not be a problem. Also, this thing wraps around. So I'm thinking the new panel will literally just sort of grip like that. So we're leaving the inner metal skin and this will grip. Also, what I'm thinking, remove this completely, as in save weight and make new panel go over it like that. And then all I need to do is just put a little LED like on Suzuki NSX with brake lights and a turn signal, and that's all you need really for racing. Another thing to consider is here at the front. I'm still not sure how I'm gonna be able to attach this. Some people said, "Oh, go all the way to the seal." I don't want to do that. I think I'm gonna stay at this position and it will end somewhere here. So chances are, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just wrap around a little bit like this. I'm not gonna use remove spot welds here. So this is literally gonna be cut on the inside line. So we're gonna have some of this metal for a few reasons. One is because the door is still gonna be attached there. And if we remove that, then I have to make the bracket, make it kaffa. You know, it has to be strong, obviously, because the doors are going to be there. So we'll just sort of cut on there, and then this will be bonded onto this side. And then maybe a couple of rivets and stuff like that. All of this is obviously gone, so spot welds removed, so this can come out. So then, because as far as I can see, it's like 3 layers of metal. Outer skin, middle skin, and the inner skin. We're gonna just leave some inner, and then the outer is gonna go completely. Another complication is this bottom bit. My side seals, they go above like this, so literally above this weld line. So in theory, I don't need to go any lower, but it still needs to attach to some metal. So what I'm thinking, and probably this is a little bit cheating, I'll probably end up cutting metal like this just above this line, so the new carbon can actually wrap around and stick to something. So I'm not completely going to remove the bottom bit. That would make it a lot easier, and also because the double seal and because of this thing, it goes through the double skin, will just make it so much easier. And I think the majority of the metal isn't here. I mean, saying that, it's probably not that much weight. I would be guessing that I'll probably be removing 4 kilos, probably, per side. I don't know. It would be interesting to actually take it off and weigh it. For the arch, obviously it needs to go higher. So this is how, more or less, I'm planning to run the car, because this is basically the right height that it was before. I just fitted the suspension, didn't really tinker with it. The car will be obviously corner weighted, it will be set up, but chances are it will probably stay roughly the same height. So what I need to do is, actually I can show you on the other side. These are basically my old arches, and roughly what we want to be able to sort of stick a hand in between like this. That way I can actually put straps around it and stuff like that. So here's my idea, and I think this is probably the easiest way. Expanding foam. This is how I'm going to build the arch. So what I'm going to do, and obviously right now you're going to see it on the little time lapse, cut shapes like this, to mimic the cutout of the arch. Attach it to the wheel, cable ties or anything, and then from there I will be able to build some kind of little box from cardboard or whatever to contain the foam. And then we pour the foam and let it expand. And then my favorite, the creative juices. And then I'm just gonna build it from scratch, the complete design. I don't want to reveal it just yet. I have some ideas and I think it's gonna look sick. Although some people, and me as well, have concerns that there's two different sort of styles and maybe these sort of really, well, I want to call it sexy, but some people will say it's ugly. Sexy French curves are not really gonna mate up well with Italian design. Wink, wink. Anyways, all right, let's prepare the arches. Two-part polyurethane foam. This is closed cell foam from East Coast Customs. Fiberglass East Coast Customs. Yep, not sponsored. So can't put their name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. 5.5 kilogram kit. I have no idea what the volume of this is. Basically, according to the data sheet, 2 liters, 2 kilograms of mix will give me 2 cubic feet expanded. I have no idea what this is. Cubic foot is 28 liters, so this is basically 56 liters. No, I mean, I don't know. I'm all confused. Guys, what do you think? What's the volume of each? You know what? If you guess correctly, no way of telling. I'll give you a t-shirt. Okay, I reckon what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix what they say. So 2 kilograms each. I have 5.5, so 2 kilograms basically will give me 1.5 left over. So we'll do that and then we'll be able to put extra on top if needed. So wish me luck. Now seemingly an impossible task of copying this side onto the other side. The best solution is what I came up with, and probably it's been done before. I didn't even Google it, just freehanding it. Basically, clear thing that I use for masking. I cut the shape of the tie well. They are identical because I cut them at the same time. What I'm doing now is basically I'll just kind of loosely trace where the arch kind of ends on the side, like this, right on the corner. And I will be able to put that onto the other side, flip around, and I'll be able to trace it. Actually, what I probably will end up doing is now I'll actually cut these things. As you can see, now let's take it to the other side. So now we take this thing, we flip it around, and we kind of something like this. And what I've done is I cut little slots in here, so I'll be able to literally put little dashes, and then we can connect the dots, hopefully. Theoretically, this should be enough for me to that shape is pretty much identical to this shape. I mean, I know it's not going to be exact mirror image, because obviously this is not 3D printed or 3D designed or, you know, whatever, but it will be super close because it will be. And top tip for you guys: nobody will ever know if you have a small discrepancy. So for example, if this line is 10 mil, 15 mil in a different place, nobody will even notice. It's only going to be visible if it's completely different. So for example, you know, this is just completely flat, and you know, where it's like really visible. But a small up to 10, 15 mil, never, not even a chance. Even if you put those, you know, you take pictures and you put them side by side, you know, like spot the difference type stuff, you'll never be able to notice, which is a good thing. So now we have this outline. I will measure pretty much the same way as I did just now, this height. So I'll need to measure sort of the height from here, then from there, and I'll be able to sort of draw this line so I know roughly where to cut. As soon as this one is cut, all I need to do is cut slightly diagonally and then start shaping it. And the rest, like for example at the rear, that was completely sort of freehand, and as you can see, it's just a very simple shape. And because I can actually see those at the back, I will be able to sort of literally stand here and send it, step back, and try and get it perfect. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with the shape. I think it's even on both sides. Excuse me for my voice. I got a bit of a cold. I've used some of this magical stuff. One strike filler for all of your DIY needs and plasterboard and stuff like that. Never used this before, but because it was such a fast drying one, and actually, you know what, it sounds really, really nice. It sounds really, really smooth. Effectively, all I need to do is literally just fill some of the bigger holes that are left by foam. Inevitably, you'll get that, even though this is like high density polyurethane closed cell foam, you still get certain holes. But next step is definitely this. I haven't done it on the previous one because, like I said, I ran out and I needed to do it. This is what you need to use. It's a polyester pattern coat primer. So effectively what this is, it's quite thick paint that you put your catalyst in it, and it basically sort of resin, well, it's not really resin, it's polyester sort of gel coat type stuff primer. So what it does, it basically seals the whole surface. You use that usually for MDF, plywood, many porous materials. So you put that, and because the coat is going to be quite thick, I think it's up to like 1 mil thickness after 2 coats. It's sandable as well, so it sands almost like a filler, and then you can actually get it to really nice finish. For skinning, definitely you don't need to take any more steps after this, but if you were to do it, for example, if you're planning to make a mold and they have to be perfect, after this you actually need to put another glossy stuff. I can't remember now from the top of my head, but I've used it before. You've probably seen it in the videos where you spray it. Can apply with a brush, but spraying is better, and that stuff can actually mirror polish. So this stuff just needs to be applied onto this, let it dry, key the surface, break some bumps, break some unevenness, and then you apply another coat. So 2 coats of that, and it should seal it completely. And after that, clean it, polish it a little bit, and then this whole side will effectively be ready for skinning.
The next day.
Alright, so let's not waste any more time and apply some Kevlar. So I made some of those windows. I don't think they're going to be very transparent. What do you think? I mean, I can always claim they're just tinted. Anyways, jokes aside, I don't know why sometimes I mean silly jokes like that. They're going to be in here because we obviously don't want any resin or anything going into my nice interior. So we're gonna just stick them from the outside, a bit of tape everywhere around, and then remove all of this, mask things off, and then I'm gonna do what I do best, being Kevlar King. Yeah, I'm actually really excited to see how it's gonna work out, because actually I need it done now because I need the car rolling, because it's ready to be sort of turned around, because the loom is almost done. In the next video had some help from people, and you know, everything is in the next video, so it's getting there. But this needs to be done because it's one of those steps that I can do in between jobs. So right now what I need to do is, like I said, mask everything, and then we need to apply PVA, one good layer of PVA, and I'm going to use a spray gun just to have an even coverage, and then we wait about half an hour or so, and then we can apply one layer, maybe do one side at a time, and then carry on with a bit more wiring, and then repeat on the other side. So it's all masked up, and please, for the love of Her Majesty the Queen and the King, why has nobody ever told me that this thing exists? If you don't know what this is, it is obviously just some polyethylene or whatever with masking tape on the side. It makes it so much easier than just putting whatever thing and then putting masking. You literally just roll it and done. Whole sides are done so quick. Honestly, a bloody life changer, guys. I'll leave a link in the description. Cheap, and it's just so good. Anyways, done. PVA going inside the gun. I'm using my cheap gun for £15 from eBay. Again, see, it doesn't have to be an expensive gun. And yeah, probably I'll end up doing 2 layers. The reason why I always say do 1 layer is because when you do it by hand with a brush or with a little sponge, chances are that the second layer will dissolve the first layer. But with a spray gun, you can actually apply 2 layers because you're not physically touching it. So to make it even more secure, or to prevent from any sort of dry spot, because last thing you want to do is when you're making such a large panel, and it's literally a one-shot deal, because if it's in a mold or something you can kind of redo it. Here I cannot. I would have to completely remake, because obviously this will be ruined, so it's a one-shot only. So 2 layers of PVA will definitely help release this thing. Yeah, cannot wait. Let's just spray it and hope for the best. So basically something like this. I have to admit, I had my doubts. As soon as I put the first layer, you've probably seen it on the time lapse. Oh, it's just so difficult, and thank God I had another layer to practice with. So the third one I think, honestly, I don't think it could have done any better. There is one crease here, which you can barely see, will probably be covered by some livery, and that's it. There is not a single crease, and it's kind of like a compound sort of form. There's a bit of a sort of crease here and here right at the bottom, but again, it's not really going to be visible. Compared to the first layer, where it was just all like that, I had to sort of crop. So it's all good. So I'm very happy and confident that I can do the same on the other side, providing this actually demolds. So I'm not sure what I want to do next, whether I want to just wait and take this off and see how it turned out before making the other one, or not wait, not waste time, just do the other one and hope for the best. Most likely I'll end up doing that because I have to cover this in XCR coating resin, because unfortunately Kevlar, it's not UV stable. So what it's gonna do is gonna not only discolor, but it also loses its, you can probably see here, yeah, if you can probably tell, you probably can't tell. This roll has been hanging on my wall and you can actually see, nah, you can't see. Anyways, it discolors and it loses its strength, the Kevlar itself. So that's why you need to cover it with anything UV stable, whether it's a clear coat or in this case XCR. The good reason to use XCR is because it's quite thick, it's basically resin. So we're gonna sort of eliminate this golf ball effect, yeah. So we're gonna remove some of this texture, similar to what I've done with other panels. So yeah, I mixed fast and slow hardener in about 50-50 ratio. So theoretically, tomorrow midday-ish, it should be definitely hard enough to apply everything else, or even test something. I don't know. Anyways, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I am tired, so.
The very next evening.
Honestly, this was actually easier than I thought. I really thought I would struggle. It was a bit of a struggle at the back, small incision, and it was fine. Everywhere else, I was really worried that foam will just stick to it. But all I did was a little bit stuck, just a small amount, which is absolutely fine, easily removable. How much this weighs, I'm not sure yet. I mean, obviously it needs trimming. But theoretically it should definitely be lighter than the metal bits. If it's not, then all of this was a waste of time. Ladies and gentlemen, a little bit disappointed. I'll put a picture now. So this is the weight of trimmed new panel, 2.7 something kilograms, and this is the weight of outer metal skin I took. Yeah, by my calculation, considering that I'm not gonna use standard lights and I'm just gonna run those small LEDs, and they're 800 grams, I saved 3.6 kilograms by removing all of that and making that. Yeah, many would say, was there a point of doing so? Well, yes and no. No, if you were just planning to save weight and just replace it with carbon. And yes, is because I need the car wider. This was the only sort of solution I could see fit, because obviously one piece is better than all those sort of stuck on bits. And also my dream of fully Kevlar Clio is now, well, almost a reality, because those are the last bits. Well, doors I still need to do, but I'll show you how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna cheat. So yeah, because I wanted everything Kevlar and one piece wider, it almost makes sense, because obviously if I were to put something on top of those metal things, this would just add weight. So by going wider, and we still saved, you know, overall. Also I'll probably end up removing some more metal. I'll remove this reinforcing bit because it's not really doing anything. It's like a double sort of skin thing. We don't really need that. There's a bit of metal here that I'll probably end up removing, chopping or spit holing or whatever. This part we don't really need because the wing is going to be mounted here, and I'm going to make another sort of A-frame support from the cage itself. Yeah, adding a bit more weight, removing some more weight, some speed holes here and there. So overall I'm hoping to be about maybe 4.5 kilograms lighter per side, which is not a huge amount, but it would still help. And yeah, all Kevlar rear. I'm not sure what to do with the sides. Again, I'm gonna have to add something to facilitate that. I'm thinking the easiest way, I'll trim it quite nice and high, and then what I'm gonna do, I'll put the wing back on and I'll just measure, and I think I'll just literally fill it with aluminium or debond. I'm not gonna bother with composites because it's gonna be really complicated making it or whatever. And literally all it needs is a fill-in piece like that with some sort of L-shaped brackets, just a couple of rivets, and then we'll just put sealant PU18, something like that, on both sides. So all we're doing is just basically sealing this, so we're not fully gonna be tabbing it. It would be a nice idea to obviously cut all of this and whatever, but time and everything. Same goes for the bottom. So we'll kind of come down here like that, and then wider, and then basically just attach to this part. So overall I am pretty happy. Yeah, just getting tired of this thing, if I'm brutally honest with you. So let me do all of that. Probably not gonna film, running out of time again, and I'll show you when all of this is done.